What's good, everyone? Welcome to my channel. If you're new, make sure you press that subscribe button. Make sure you also follow me on all platforms, JP Kima. Now, let's get into it, guys. I decided I was going to do a football hot take video where I will encourage anyone to give me their football hot takes and I will try to respond to the best ones. So I posted on my TikTok a few days ago. Now it's time to see who has some incredible football hot takes. So let's get into it. Now you got my boy Sky Blue NJ. Shout out to NJ, know him. He said, treble 22-23 Man City is the greatest season of an English side. Now let's get things very clear. He mentioned the greatest season. Obviously, if you're looking at season, you're talking about treble. And when you think about treble, only 2 teams have ever done it. So Man United, 99, where obviously first English side to win a treble, and in the fashion they've done it as well. 2 late goals against European giants, Bayern Munich, to complete your treble is absolutely a madness. You understand? Obviously, it's a long time ago. So a lot of the young guys, if I watch the video now, it's not going to look like today's kind of football, but it's still an incredible achievement. And then you think, yeah, Man City 22-23 season, what they've done was a madness as well. Winning their first ever Champions League and, having a player like Haaland scoring 50 plus goals in all competition. Like, they had an incredible year, innit? And I do feel like it will be more appreciated maybe in the next 10 to 15 years. But because we just kept seeing Man City being favourites to win every single competition year in, year out, I feel like right now people are not really taking it in. But I don't think it's a like crazy hot take. I think if you're talking about the greatest season of an English side, of course it's going to be the season where English side has won most of the big trophies, right? And I do feel like only 2 teams have done it. So it's whether you prefer Man United's 99 season or you prefer Man City's 22-23 season. So you guys let me know, man. Personally, for me, like I said, I feel like the Man City side will get the respect in about 10 to 15 years, man. When there's no longer Haaland and, Pep has gone, and when Man City are no longer the giant that they used to be, then people tend to remember, that year was a madness. But yeah, man, I think it's not I don't even think it's a hot take. I think you could prefer whichever one you prefer, whether it's United's treble or Man City's treble. Now you've got Prince Ryan. I know Ryan as well. He's another content creator. He said 18-19 was the best version of Lionel Messi. Now, you guys know I'm an Arsenal fan, but I've got this affection for Barcelona outside of Arsenal. Like, I've always liked Barcelona. You understand? So if Arsenal didn't exist, I'll be a Barcelona fan. You get me? But it's almost, you can say Barca is it's like my second team, right? And I've probably watched every Messi match since 2011. I don't remember missing a Messi match. I'm talking about even now, playing at Inter Miami, I still watch him. He's obviously my favorite player ever. Thierry Henry was my favorite player before him, and there's other players I admired. Obviously, people like Neymar, Ronaldinho. There's other greats that I love watching. R9. But in terms of Messi, that year was a carry job. Messi was incredible. He was absolutely incredible. And I think that season, he also won the Copa America, innit? And I think that must be the season where he won the Ballon d'Or. Some people thought Van Dijk should have won it because Liverpool won the Champions League that year and whatnot. But yeah, Messi was incredible. There was no player on earth better than Messi. The thing with this one there, again, I don't really consider that as a hot take. Messi has many different versions. I mean, Messi 2011 was incredible. 2012 was incredible. 2013 was incredible. 2014-15 season, MSN, for me, I still think of that season when I think of Messi. You're thinking about obviously being unbelievable. Yeah, that year, Neymar was incredible. Suarez was incredible as well. But when you think about even the against Atletico Bilbao, the finals, the Copa del Rey, blood, Messi getting the ball and just taking on the whole team and scoring, it was a madness. I'm thinking that season as well, where MSN season where what he did to Bayern Munich. You understand? I think Messi has many different versions, so it's difficult to know. But that's definitely in terms of carry job. That was a season I saw Messi carry like ever before. So I can understand. Plus, he scored, I believe, over 50 goals in all competition that year as well. He was incredible, man. So yeah, I'm not against that. What do you call it? I'm not against that either. So I feel like Ryan, that is a fair take. So Emil Simic, my guy, he said Paul Bill Pogba was not a flop for Man United. Disappointing, yes, but flop, absolutely not. He has delivered in many moments and had like 3 good years for them. United failed Pogba. And listen, I think what Emil Simic said there is very justified in the sense of we've seen a lot of players go to Man United in recent years and haven't reached the full potential or maybe under delivered. But if you see where Man United are today, you can understand that Paul Pogba could have been a bit better, yes. But you can see that the whole team, the whole structure, the whole club is rotten. And I feel like the expectation put on the player, who's obviously a big name, a big star. The signing at that time was incredible. It was a lot of money and everything. But when you now look at United after Pogba left, you can see that that club is just rotten. So I do feel like Pogba, I think flop is harsh. You understand? Flopping is harsh when you consider other players have joined United for a big price tag and also haven't delivered to the expectation. I think Pogba did more than Sancho. You understand? If I'm being totally honest, he did more than Anthony. These guys are all big name signings in terms of, transfer fee that was paid for them. And did they deliver? No. Pogba, I feel like there were a few seasons where he did show the level of quality that everyone wanted from him. But I do feel like the team was in balance. He wasn't surrounded by players that were good enough. He also did not have managers that tried to get the best out of him by either putting him in the right position or signing the right players that Pogba could, do what he wanted to do with. But like at the end of the day, I do feel like flop, when you look at it right now, I think is a bit too harsh to say. But he didn't reach the potential that everyone wanted to see him reach when he was at Man United. But however, we saw what he could do for France, we saw what he could do for Juventus, and obviously we've seen the injury. So yeah, Emil Simic, I don't think that's a bad take either. This guy that says Neymar is a better playmaker than Ronaldo. Of course, Neymar is a better playmaker than Ronaldo because that's Neymar's game. Neymar, obviously, in terms of pure football ability, not many players in the history of the game can stand next to him. So it's not a what should I say? It's not a insult to Ronaldo to say he's a better playmaker than Ronaldo. Kevin De Bruyne is a better playmaker than Ronaldo. You understand? We can think of loads of players who are better playmakers than Ronaldo. However, they're not greater than Ronaldo, so I feel like that is pointless. I think it's a pointless discussion because Ronaldo is greater than Neymar Jr. Either way, but the Neymar is better than Ronaldinho one. That is a hot take. That will always be a hot take. Because I feel like with that one, there is no right or wrong answer. You're either going to be Team Ronaldinho or Team Neymar. Now, I love both players equally. Yeah. But again, in simple terms, they both could do the same things. They both have the same level of ability. Yeah. It's just a fact. Yeah. Both could pass, both could dribble, both could score. Both were good at set piece. You understand? Obviously, some were slightly better than the other at different aspects. Set pieces, I think Ronaldinho was better, but Neymar was still very good at taking set pieces as well. Passing as well, I think Ronaldinho slightly better than Neymar at that. Dribbling, I think they're both same level. It depends on what your eyes, what you find more appealing to watch. But both were very skillful. You understand? So very very similar. But Neymar obviously a greater goal scorer than Ronaldinho. You know, but if you look at goals, assist record, all of that, Neymar might be ahead of Ronaldinho when it comes to like statistics and whatnot. But obviously, two different eras of football. I think Neymar's in the era of football where stats matter. Ronaldinho played in the era of football where his stats were brilliant, but no one was fixated on stats. You understand? So hence why when Ronaldinho won the Ballon d'Or, he wasn't a top goal scorer for his team. Samuel Eto'o was a top goal scorer for his team. Samuel Eto'o scored in the Champions League finals for Barcelona, but they gave it to Ronaldinho, Ballon d'Or, and FIFA Best Player of the Year because of his genius, how amazing he was, you know. But I do believe this is what I think personally. Both are equal in terms of footballing ability, but I think Ronaldinho is greater. And I think when Brazilians will tell you, yeah, me, first of all, growing up as a young man, when you used to watch anything to do with Brazil's national teams and stuff, it was always, you have to win the World Cup, you know, or the standout player for the team has to deliver the World Cup. And I do think, although Ronaldinho wasn't the standout player, he was still one of the best players for Brazil when they won the World Cup in 2002. Obviously, when he was the best player in the world, he did it. He underachieved, underdelivered for Brazil, but he already accomplished. You understand? That's the thing. He already accomplished the goal of winning the World Cup. Neymar, obviously, a lot will say he's unfortunate because his era of football, Brazilian players were not nowhere near as talented as the era of Ronaldinho. However, when we debate two guys, we have to look at what are facts. Facts is Ronaldinho ticks Ballon d'Or, um, Champions League, World Cup, and Neymar takes Champions League, no Ballon d'Or, no World Cup, no Copa America. But Neymar obviously destroys Ronaldinho when it comes to stats. So I do think it's a hot take. So my opinion, I feel like when you compare players, like if we compare Ronaldo and Messi, football ability wise, we know who's better. Yeah, we know who's better. But what do we look at? Some would judge some stats. Some might judge leagues the other ones played. Some might judge trophies, individual trophies, collective trophy, all of that. So I think with Neymar and Ronaldinho, I feel like Ronaldinho just ticked. He didn't have the longevity of Neymar, but he ticked those boxes when it comes to level of greatness. Of course, Neymar's unfortunate to be part of the Ronaldo and Messi era, but it is what it is. It's still the same expectation for every Brazilian, every great Brazilian that has played. I know Neymar's got great things. He's Brazil's all-time top goal scorer. What and he's done a lot of things, man. At international level, he's the player of the second most assist. There's great things about Neymar. I don't like this one because I like both players equally. But I'm going to say Ronaldinho achieved greater things than Neymar did. So here you have a guy called Barkad. He says Sergio Ramos is overrated defender because most of his games comes from clutch moments. But in terms of a defender, as a pure defender, Thiago Silva and Van Dijk is better than him. That's a very, very controversial but very good hot take. And I'm not gonna say he's overrated. Sergio Ramos is not overrated. But I do believe, again, the reason why Sergio Ramos is rated more than he mentioned Thiago Silva and Virgil van Dijk is, again, when it comes to legacy, we look at the full picture. So with Ramos, of course, clutch moments matters in football. And for a defender to clutch so many moments, yeah, and be part of historical teams that won trophies at club and international levels should not be used against him. But what I will agree is I do believe Thiago Silva is a better defender than Sergio Ramos. I believe Nesta is a much better defender than Sergio Ramos. There's some defenders who are better at defending, but I think what Ramos brought is his leadership skills, like you said, to organize a team, the warrior mentality, the clutch moments. But I therefore think in terms of Thiago Silva is still going on. At his age, Ramos is still playing, obviously at his age, but Thiago Silva is even older, and we've seen like what he did when he came to England, being able to win the Champions League with Chelsea and being one of the best defenders in the Prem. Van Dijk, I do believe there's a lot of question marks on Van Dijk. Like a lot of people believe he's great, and is one of the greatest defenders the Prem has seen. But there's a lot of question marks. People still question his defending, how he, allows opponents to basically run at him and just to shoot. The lack of tackling from Virgil van Dijk. So yeah, I will say in terms of defending, I do agree that those guys are better in terms of just defending, but I do still feel like Sergio Ramos is greater because you can't take away what he's still done, you know. But in terms of pure defending, yeah, like you said, I think they are more pure defenders than Ramos. And I think there's quite a few defenders that are better than Ramos in terms of pure defending. This guy, I mean, his name is User something something. He says Manuel Neuer is the best goalkeeper of all time. I mean, that's not a hot take, bro. Some could think Buffon, you know. Some could think Yashin. Some could think Manuel Neuer. But I think if you've watched football in the last 20 years, most people will think Manuel Neuer is the greatest keeper of all time. We'll talk about what he's done at club, international, and at international level. Talk about the longevity. Talk about just literally influencing a whole generation of where goalkeepers now want to play out from the back. Like that says it all. So I agree with that take. For me personally, I saw Buffon, I saw Iker Casillas, I saw Oliver Kahn, and I saw Manuel Neuer. And for me, I do believe he is the greatest goalkeeper of all time because he brought that wow factor. And on top of it, he was an incredible shot stopper as well. It's not because he's a keeper sweeper, it's the fact that he's also an incredible shot stopper as well, man. So yeah, so I agree with that one. This one here is interesting. Kylian Mbappe will end up as a top 10 player of all time. Now look, when you think about 10 players, that's really a small amount of players. And then when I'll just start to mention some names, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, R9, yeah, Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldinho, Johan Cruyff, yeah, these are just some of the names. Pele, Maradona, these are just some of the names, anyways, I can think of. Top 10, I think, legacy-wise, because people like to get it confused, right? There's been so many talented football players, but legacy matters. So you might not be as talented as another player, but if your legacy, you start to see World Cups, Champions League, Ballon d'Ors, then you already enter a different category. It don't matter whether, because if it was just about ability, Ben Arthur will be one of the greatest players ever. You understand? Because he was unstoppable. There's been some great players who never got to the top. Kylian Mbappe now, let's talk about a guy who has been one of the most prolific goal scorers we've ever seen. You understand? Since he stepped on the scene. In France, he won, I don't know, 5 or 6 golden boots in a row. He's gone to Spain. He got the Pichichi already. This season already, he's doing a madness. So Mbappe's longevity he's been very consistent. His goals don't lie. So many goals. For France national team, we know. He's got the World Cup already out of the way. Like where he was one of the best performing players as well. Another World Cup he played in, he scored a hat-trick in the finals. He was top goal scorer in that World Cup. Now, these are like big key moments in careers. Now, I think for Kylian Mbappe to be considered a top 10 greatest player of all time, I think he's going to have to win Ballon d'Ors. He's going to have to win Champions Leagues. You know, not a lot of them. If he can win maybe 2 Ballon d'Ors, 2 Ballon d'Ors, and if he can go on to win, couple Champions Leagues, then we can enter that debate. But right now, I think it's way too soon. Way too soon to consider Kylian Mbappe top 10 greatest player of all time. I think it'll be a discredit to a lot of players that have done it already. You think about it, people like Andres Iniesta, who literally done it at all levels, won every trophy there is to win. Individual trophy, maybe not have won, he never won a Ballon d'Or, but he's won the Champions League, he's won the World Cup, he's won the Euros, so many La Liga titles. Like, and he had the longevity and the consistency, and he marked his era. I think Mbappe is marking his era, but he's going to have to achieve a bit more. Like that World Cup obviously puts him in a great position to finish as a top 10 player, but he's gonna have to go achieve a lot more than that, man. He's just gone to Spain now, you know. Can he go there, dominate, continue to win Pichichis, maybe three or four of them? Can he win two Ballon d'Ors? Can he win, you know what I'm saying, couple Champions Leagues? Then listen, things will be ticked. And then, yeah, we can go band for band and see other players and Kylian Mbappe. But I think it's discrediting people like Thierry Henry, you say even like the Benzema's, these guys who have done it and been there and done that already, man. So yeah. This guy called Bolt Kent said, KDB is the greatest midfielder in Prem history. More like a fact, not a take. I mean, you know when you call someone the greatest in a position, in a league, it's very difficult when you mark the errors. Different times, different tactics, different styles. Is KDB one of the greatest Premier League midfielders of all time? Absolutely. Did he win a lot of Premier League titles? Absolutely. Was he considered best player in the league at times? In the Premier League? Absolutely. So he ticks all those boxes, man. I think if you think even PFA Player of the Year and things like that, I think he's got all of that, right? Should we diminish though what people like Scholes did as well? How many Premier League titles? But then I think in terms of individual trophies, Scholes ain't won what KDB's won. But again, different era of football. Different era of football. In Scholes' era, no one was so fixated on stats and all these kind of things. I don't think it's a hot take. I think a lot of people can consider him that. I just feel like let's put some respect also on the names of some of the great midfielders. And then when you talk about midfielders, there's attacking midfielders, there's defensive midfielders, you know, there's box to box midfielders. So I think we have to be very specific because you can't diminish what people like Vieira did, people like Keane did, like people like Gerrard did. We're not gonna forget what Yaya did. Gave us the best midfield, what do you call it, performance in a season that we've ever seen. You know, David Silva's consistency as well, the longevity and how incredible he was. Cesc Fabregas, you understand? Like how many times was he top assister in the league as well? I think he's one of, he's definitely in the conversation. So I don't think that's a hot take. I think a hot take is where it could be, something quite controversial. But I think that one there, he is definitely one of the greatest midfielders in Premier League history. This guy said Cole Palmer will be the first player to break Henry's record, 20 goals, 20 assists. He'll be first to do it because he's Chelsea's best creator and the best goal scorer. I mean, that one there, he's not done it, so it's not really a topic. I think, can Cole Palmer do it? I think he's got the ability to do so. Like you said, he takes the penalties, he takes the free kicks, and he's the creative force behind Chelsea. So, I mean, just in a season, he could alone have 10 penalties and maybe another 10 goals from open play. And then in terms of assist, um, yeah, he's the one that takes literally all the set piece and stuff. So, and he's the one that has the ball most of the time. So I think he can do it, but there's a reason why it hasn't been done because it's not easy. But can Cole Palmer do it? I think he can. Will he do it is another story. Bissen Key, yeah, said Duran Timber is the best Arsenal defender, very versatile player. Um, Listen, I actually agree. Every time I watch Timber, I just feel he's so underrated. So underrated. And again, I don't think that one's even a hot take. I mean, someone gonna say Gabriel, of course, and some could think Saliba. I think that's the greatness of Arsenal right now. I think the amount of clean sheets we have and all these things is for a reason. So that one there again, Timber is definitely he's definitely one of our best defenders. He's one of our best players, bruv. Never mind defenders. So yeah, but I will agree with that one. Oh, this one here is a bit of a mad one there still. Bale for Madrid was a better signing than Neymar for Barcelona. I don't agree. I don't agree with that. Did Bill have moments, crazy moments? Yes, he did. Did Bale leave Real Madrid on good terms with the club? No. Was Bale consistent season in, season out? You can say his first few seasons he was consistent. After that, there was the injuries. There was the lack of effort that the fans thought. There was obviously Wales goal for Madrid or whatever order he put in, and like I think Bill is an underrated person at Real Madrid, but Neymar, there's a reason why you literally had Messi almost in tears, Suarez almost in tears. I just saw Rakitic do an interview recently saying like it's just such a shame Neymar left Barcelona at that time. And Neymar, I don't recall a poor season from Neymar at Barcelona. Obviously Bill was at Real Madrid for longer. So and as the as Real Madrid won their three-peat, the Champions League, no one, I will say no one, yeah, believes, outside of Real Madrid fans, obviously, believes that we've seen a better trio than the MSN. And the reason why you see Barcelona, even when Madrid are winning the Champions League, Barcelona was still taking La Liga titles. Like, they're making it difficult for Madrid because those three was just scoring for fun, man. Like, they were scoring for fun. And even the year where the MSN won the Champions League and Neymar was brilliant as well in the Champions League as well. He was joint top goal scorer, I believe, with Messi and maybe Ronaldo as well. He scored as well in the finals. He was incredible. I think Neymar didn't really drop off. And you think of iconic moments, Gareth Bale, I mean, coming off, I think he came off the bench, right? Scored that overhead kick in the finals for Real Madrid. That's the moment. And then I think another moment for Gareth Bale, you're thinking about the Copa del Rey final. I remember Ronaldo didn't play, and he literally dusted Barcelona and scored an unbelievable goal. Man kicked it past. I can't even remember who was the defender at the time. Man left the pitch, come back on the pitch, went on all the way to score. That's the two big moments, of course, which you can't forget. Um, Neymar, like I said, man, he turned up clutch as well in the Champions League final for Barca. Neymar, that remontada was Neymar tada. Yeah, we're never gonna forget that. But I just think Neymar and the MSN, like nobody's forgotten the history. I don't think any trio scored more goals than them. Like this season, it was something. It was so ridiculous, and I just feel like as well, Neymar didn't have a bad season. And I know Barca fans, some of them were a bit upset when he left and whatnot. But if you ask that question, who's a bigger legend for their club? Is Bill a bigger legend for Madrid than Neymar is for Barcelona? Absolutely not. I think Neymar is a bigger legend for Barcelona than Gareth Bale is for Real Madrid. So that answers the question for you. Oh, this guy called Ghost said Neymar is the best youngster to ever. That's another Neymar one, man. Is the best youngster to ever exist in football, not Yamal. First of all, you have to take things to context, bro. When you say the best, are you talking in terms of ability? Because if it's just in terms of ability, we could say even Messi was the best. It's just that at that time, Barcelona, they didn't need to throw him into the first team straight away like that and make him a regular star. I mean, in the first team. Have we forgotten a guy called R9 as well, who literally was already in his prime as a teenager as well. Um, but I do believe Neymar definitely is one of the best youngsters, but people will tell you he was playing in Brazil. Obviously, the argument will be he finished top 10 in the Ballon d'Or while playing in Brazil as well and whatnot. But again, Yamal, at the age of 15, already in the squad, 16 is a starter, 17 is the star of Barcelona. And then you're talking about being the star of the Spanish national team already. And it's not that he's just a star, he's won them trophies. So I do feel like, in terms of ability, of course, Neymar, Messi, R9, there's loads of guys who were probably better than Lamine Yamal in terms of ability and whatnot. But the difference is Yamal was allowed to play for a top club and be a regular starter, and he delivered. And these are just things that are factual. So I don't think we've seen 16, 17-year-olds do what Lamine Yamal has done. Like I said, this guy went to the Euros and look how old he was. 16, starting, turning up, scoring big goals, clutch moments against the big teams. Got young player of the tournament. And obviously for Barcelona, you understand, we saw what he was able to accomplish, finishing second as well in the Ballon d'Or and whatnot. So yeah, so for me, I think no teenager has accomplished what Yamal did at that age. That's just factually. So this guy called Zenix, this will be the last one, guys. His hot take was his hot take is Ronaldo peak as a player is 11, 12, not oh 07 or 08 or 16, 17. 11, 12 season, he dropped 69 goals and 15 assists in all competition. But it's not just about the stats, but his overall game. He was the deadliest transition player the game may have ever seen. He could dribble, he could score, free kicks, creates chances. This was his peak. Of course, I mean, when you put out those numbers, it's devastating, of course. Yeah, we're talking about one of the greatest players of all time. For me personally, that 7 or 8 season is the best version of Cristiano Ronaldo I've seen with my eyes. Yeah, with the eye test. He scored a lot of goals. I think he scored maybe, was it 42 goals in all competition? But you have to understand again, I feel like after that season, the stats era started people started to get so obsessed with stats as the season went on and on. But I just feel like his overall performance was breathtaking. It was breathtaking. And obviously, he won his first Champions League that year. And I felt like it was the complete version of Ronaldo. He dribbled more than ever. He scored free kicks. He scored headers. He could shoot from anywhere. Literally, he was like unstoppable. I think for me, that's the best version of Cristiano Ronaldo. I think that version of Ronaldo is the best I've ever seen. You understand? But I can understand when you're hearing 69 goals and whatnot, it's frightening, blood. You understand? But for me personally, I think that season that season at United where he won the Champions League was like a Ronaldo on steroids, blood. He entertained the fans. Like it wasn't like he was desperately trying to score them times. It looked like the game, everything just seemed easy for him, man. Like you can feel himself as the best player in the world at that time. So yeah, man. So I will disagree, but I'm not against that opinion. Again, I don't think I don't think it's even a hot take because again, Ronaldo has multiple versions. It depends on which version of Ronaldo you prefer to watch, man. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, also share and comment as well. And yeah, we'll do more hot takes later on.